Hey, Blessing, how you doing today? Good to see you.
I'm doing good.
Excellent.
It's good to see you too.
Yeah. How's your day been so far?
It's been okay. Kind of starting on my day.
Well, I'm glad you could make it. I'm glad we can have this talk today. Yeah, so let the viewers know who you are, what you do, and why you do it, Blessing.
Okay. Well, my name is Blessing Adjei. I'm a behavioral specialist, a, a dating coach, a relationship expert. I'm also a marriage counselor and a matchmaker. So this is what I do. And I also do mental health coaching, life coaching, sleep coaching. So I'm more of like a speaker, a coach person. I love to coach and help people.
Excellent. So when you look back at like your journey before you did all these things to do with relationships and marriage, can you think back to like your thought process at the time when you were thinking about getting into it, and what was the trigger that made you decide that you want to help people with their relationships?
I'll say growing up, my parents had very wonderful relationship. It was my parents' marriage that gave me that motivation to help others. And I realized I didn't have other people experiencing those kind of wonderful relationships. And I also wanted to experience that wonderful relationship firsthand. So then when it got to choosing a mate, it helped me to know who to choose and who not to. I was able to read the red flags and the green flags. And then I found a very wonderful mate. But then a lot of people did not resonate with me when I told them things about marriage. They're like, I don't experience that such. You must be fortunate, you must be lucky. So I realized it's not just about being fortunate or being lucky. There are some skills involved in staying in a relationship and making it successful because it's not about luck or favor, it's about doing the right things. So I had to teach other people the secret to my success. It's not just about luck. There are more things. There's a lot of work I'm putting into the relationship. And my partner is also putting those work into the relationship in order for it to be beautiful. So that was the motivation. And I had to share the knowledge with other people.
Excellent. Now, before we get into like how you got with your current partner and the circumstances of your relationships and things like that, you mentioned red and green flags that you saw in your parents' relationships. What was some of those red and green flags that you're able to witness?
I would say in general, there are some red flags you see in a relationship, and you know that this person might not be fit for the road down there. The road to marriage is very long, it's a very long journey. So it's not just what you see during the dating phase, it's so much deeper. So you can see that my parents were very considerate of each other. You always saw my father being worried if my mom is late from work. And he's like, I haven't seen my wife. I think I should go out there to the bus stop. Going to the bus stop does not change the fact that she's not home. But he cannot even sit still until she comes in. He has to go out there and just see her get off the bus. So I was like, wow, this is love at first hand. And I did see them have misunderstandings, but they never raised their hands on each other. My father never hit my mom for any reason, no matter how upset he was. And even whilst they had issues or they're having misunderstanding, you hear him calling her darling. I'm so mad at you, darling. I'm like, okay, who? Who gets mad at someone I used to call them darling? So that gave me an idea of what true love really is. And I was like, okay, now I know what to look out for. Not just fairy tale or unrealistic expectations, but I knew other important things like the both of them working together, talking about finances. One person doesn't do anything the other doesn't know. So wherever my father is, my mom knows. And wherever my mom is, my father just knows. I know where she is. And as at that time, the phone was not rampant, but they still were able to keep track of each other and just know where each other is and believed each other. There was mutual trust and confidence. So yeah, those were things I wanted to experience firsthand. So when I got into a relationship, I was looking for someone who was confident in me, someone I could trust, someone who would tell me is A, and I would believe. I know that you're able to lead me the right way. So, yeah, so those were the things I looked out for, and yeah, I got them, and I'm very happy about that.
Excellent. Yeah, so essentially they were a team in all their things that they did in their ups and even in their struggles. They still managed to connect as a team.
It definitely did.
Yeah, fantastic. So, speaking about struggles, we all go through different struggles in relationships, whether it's previous relationships or current relationships. And you said that like you and your partner, like there's a lot of a harmony that you are able to find in your relationships, in your relationship. Would you say that there were some struggles that you've been through within that relationship? And if so, what were those struggles and how did you both navigate through those?
Every relationship comes with struggles, especially misunderstandings. So misunderstandings are part of the relationship. It helps you to get to know your partner better. You get to understand their perspective, you know what they believe in, and you just know how best they want you to be treated or how they want you to treat them. But I think the mistake people make is disagreeing the wrong way. Because how you disagree is when you be able to get an understanding. So when I got into my marriage, I realized there were disagreements. And come to think of it, we were newly married. A lot of things were not aligning together at that time. And I also didn't know that your partner must not agree with you on everything. I used to think, well, you love me, we should agree on everything. So it took me time to realize that even if you are married to someone, they will still have different perspectives from you. And you have to have an open mind to be able to understand where they are coming from. You could see an issue as 6, but they see it as 9 because of how it's written or the way it's shaped. So having an open mind, knowing that this person is a human, they have their own ideas, they have their own upbringing and backgrounds. So their thoughts might not align with yours all the time. Having that open mind will give you an open heart to just hear your partner out, allow them to have freeness of speech, expressing themselves without you being upset, even if you do not agree with what they're saying. But that's where people have the issue. I don't agree with you, so I have to be mad. You don't agree with me, we are not compatible. No, that is not compatibility. You must not agree every time. But the thing is, one person has to bend to the other sometimes. So since we don't agree, someone has to bend. And like, oh, okay, I guess you were right. It's actually 6 and not 9. So, but when you keep holding on to 6 every time, and well, it's 6 that I know, you will realize that you become closed-minded. You don't have the ability to learn. So if you're coming into a relationship, be willing to learn. A relationship will teach you a lot of stuff, but you must be open-minded and willing to learn from your partner. But when you think you know it all and only what you say is what stands, then there'll be no much growth in the relationship.
Excellent,
So yeah,
excellent.
those are the issues we had. And I had to take time to learn about my partner, have an open mind during conversations, knowing that when we don't agree, I don't have to be upset. So yeah, that keeps the peace in the relationship.
Yeah, it sounds like you both understood that you are both individuals in the relationship with individual thoughts, and you were able to find your kind of harmonies when you needed to come together, but still respect each other as individuals, which is, what can help your relationship to last long and make progress. But some people, like because you're mentioning someone should bend to the other person sometimes, to just find some harmony in their relationship. But in some cases, the bending is one-sided in some relationships where someone feels like they're always bending to the other. What is your opinion on that kind of a circumstance when somebody is always having to bend to the other person?
It is heartbreaking because relationship is partnership. If I bend to you today, you should bend to me tomorrow. Because if you expect me to do the bending every time, it becomes toxic. That means only one person is getting hurt, the other person is not getting hurt, and that is very emotionally heartbreaking. So I would say if you're in a relationship and your partner is not able to express themselves freely without you getting upset, you need to make some adjustments. Because as humans, if you give your partner the freeness of speech, they'll be able to love you. But when they have to do things just to make you happy, they have to walk on eggshells just so you don't get upset, and they have to agree with everything you say just so that you don't get mad. That is not a relationship. They won't be able to love you completely. That looks like a situationship. So if they find someone else who gives them that opportunity to be free and express themselves and be who they are, they would leave. And that's why some people are leaving their relationships because no one gets seen. You need to be seen. You need to be validated by your partner. They need to tell you that I understand where you're coming from. I know what you're saying. I think you have a point. So you need to also make me feel like I have some sense. So yeah, there should be some validation in your relationship. It's very important.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Now, like, when we look at it closer, like a lot of relationships, they see like gender roles within relationship where one person tends to lead the relationship and the other person tends to follow in that relationship. So when we speak about bending in the relationship, does that affect the relationship dynamic when like they kind of bend into each other? Can one person see the other person as leading the relationship if they're always also bending to their will? Or do you think it's a case where the person leading the relationship should take on board what their partner is saying and still lead the relationship? Or do you feel like they're taking turns in leadership? Or what is your opinion on that?
When it comes to leadership, in my home, my husband leads. He is the head, but at the same time, he's loyal to me. So I submit to him and he is loyal, but he does not take my submission for granted. And it doesn't give him an avenue to disrespect me because I'm submissive. So I like to make most of the decisions and I listen. It's hard, especially having to let someone tell you, let's do this. And you say, okay, let's do it, even when you have a different opinion. So it takes a lot of work on your person, knowing that this is the head of my family. I give you the opportunity to lead me. So whilst you're leading me, I'm not going to come behind and let you know that I'm going to lead for some time. We are not taking turns to lead. He leads. But at the same time, he's not a leader who tries to dictate everything that you do and give you curfews or tell you where to go or how to be. He is very flexible, which makes it very easy for me to submit. So when you lead with kindness, your partner will submit even without you asking. When you lead with love, consideration, it makes things very easy. And that's why a lot of women are trying to act really, will I say stubborn about submission? They don't want to hear it because they feel it's all about slavery. Because some people take it for granted and begin to disrespect their partners. So I enjoy being submissive to my partner because he loves me and he shows that consideration. He appreciates and like, I appreciate you being submissive. I appreciate you agreeing to this. So I see that appreciation coming. That means you appreciate me doing this for you. And this keeps the peace in the union. We are not rocking shoulders, trying to show who's greater or who is leading. I know my role. I'm his support while he is leading the family. So, but then I still make decisions. I still tell him, no, we can't do this. This looks better to me. Can we do this? And he's like, yeah, I think you're right. Let's do that. But it's not every time. And that's what I say. We bend to each other. It's not like one person bending and all you do is follow. To me, that's slavery. So you should have freeness of speech. You should be able to know what to say. And then the other person validates your speech or your feeling. But then the man leads in my family and I follow. So that's our dynamic and it works for us.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, no, like I do respect what you said there because it does create a good union, especially with the both genders being able to understand each other in that way. But because you were mentioning some women see it as kind of a slavery, and sometimes they feel like I don't want to have to answer to anyone in that way, like especially if they are a career-driven person where they're a boss at work or they're a leader in their workplace and they start to immerse themselves into their professional life because they feel like they have more control there, to the point that it kind of creates a gap between their emotional side and their professional side where they don't know how to bridge that gap again. So, in your opinion, how could someone that is so focused heavily on their career and being a leader in their career, especially a woman, be able to bridge that gap in an intimate side and be able to not bring that into the house?
Your work is different from your relationship. I work full time. I've led people, I've supervised. But when I come home, I'm a wife, I'm a baby. So if you don't know when to switch the role, you bring in the leadership into your home, you're going to make things difficult. Now, because the way men are created, they are not created to be led by women. So a man still wants to exercise some form of control and he wants to see you respect that. So when you lead outside, I'm a career woman. I do so many things and I lead people. So if I bring that leadership back home and try to supervise my husband like I do to my fellow employees, how do you think our home is going to be? Because he also wants you to accord him some respect and not like bossing him around like an employee, telling him what to do. So, but then when I go to work, I do my supervision over there. When I come home, I'm his wife and I'm his baby because I want him to treat me right. I want him to know that I'm the weaker vessel. I can't lift that heavy stuff. If you want to lead him and supervise, then you have to go mow the lawn. You have to go clean the ice, clean the snow, wash your car, fuel your gas. So he does those things for me because I tell him, look, I am your responsibility. You have to take care of me. So I don't bring the leadership at work back home because at home I'm a wife. It's different. So when I go out, I wear my coat and turn into a leader. When I come home, I become a wife. I let him lead me and take care of me because I mean that's what we're supposed to do. So if you don't know how to make the switch, that's what causes the problem. You don't bring what happens outside to inside. Because a lot of people who have PhDs, who are very much educated, sometimes they fail in marriage. Why? Because they don't know how to make that switch. You bring your education back home. It doesn't matter what you have. If you have a master's degree, even if your partner has a high school diploma, when you come home, tuck your master's degree into your bag and be that partner. It's not about your education. It's not about your work, what you earn. Even if you earn more than your partner, some women do that. They earn more than you, so you're trash. No. What you earn, what you study, your career has nothing to do with your marriage. This is a whole different institution. You have to separate it from your career. So when you do your career thing, you put on a boss lady attitude out there so you can get the respect. The moment you come in with your partner, you have to make the switch. You become a wife or a partner or a girlfriend or a baby. You get treated right. Because when you bring in the boss lady into the house, he will not be able to treat you right. And sometimes he'll be scared of you. He doesn't know how to approach you. And some men are distant when it comes to communication. They don't communicate properly because they're afraid. They don't want trouble. They don't want you to attack them and become like, you don't say that to me. You don't do that to me. And then, they are walking on eggshells. So you don't want your partner to be that way. So when you come home, you have to be humble and make yourself free and be like, well, I'm nobody when I'm with you. I am just a lover. I just want to love you. It has nothing to do with career, what I earn, or anything. So your relationship is a whole different institution from your work or your career.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah, so essentially being able to complement each other in different ways and understanding that the way you complement each other is not gonna be, it's not gonna look the same in terms of what you do, but like that complement is kind of like what creates the harmony and kind of yin and yang balance between the two people to be able to coexist and understand each other. Would you say that's accurate?
Yes, definitely. And this happens in a relationship where there is love. A lot of relationships start off with love, but then the partners ruin it. Sometimes the men are too authoritative, they expect too much from the woman, and sometimes the women are having unrealistic expectations, and then they ruin that first love. But everything has a way to fix it. There's always a way to repair. If you've ruined your love, you can go fix it. One way to fix your relationship, you have to be humble. If you want to be successful in a relationship, take pride away. Take fear away. Be humble and love. Love relentlessly. So when you do that, your partner will be able to trust you. They'll feel committed and confident in the relationship. They'll be able to love you properly. So yeah, so the relationship gets ruined because of how people treat it. Because
Yeah.
initially, when a man meets a woman, he's in love with her. He wants to talk to you all the time. He wants to call you, but something changes along the line. It's the way people treat relationship. Sometimes the man doesn't know how to treat it, or the woman doesn't know how to treat it. At the end, there's a lack of good communication. So from the start of your relationship, communicate about what you expect from your partner, how you want the relationship to go, how you're going to resolve conflicts in terms of disagreements. Like I and my husband, when we have disagreements, we don't let it go over the next day. The next day, we are smiling and laughing because we have to resolve it. We have to talk about it. And we try not to call each other names and swear at each other because when you do that, you begin to decrease the love the other person has for you. How do you expect me to believe that you love me? You just called me an idiot yesterday. You just called me stupid, foolish yesterday. And today you tell me you love me? So when you are disagreeing, you have to disagree with respect. No name calling, no cussing at your partner. No matter how upset you are, you have to be in charge of your emotions. So yeah, those are the things that help us. So we working on each other. He's doing the same thing. I'm doing the same thing. We meet each other in the middle. That makes it beautiful.
Excellent, excellent. Like some people just feel like all of this is too much pressure for them, like having to figure out like how someone feels all the time, and they just want their freedom. And so, like when they think like that, they start looking at different relationship dynamics. They start looking at things like monogamy versus non-monogamy. Maybe they can have more freedom in different ways if they look at different relationship dynamics. So, in that context, what is your viewpoint on monogamy versus non-monogamy?
Firstly, I'll say relationship is hard work, and the grass is not greener on the other side most of the times. The grass is greener where you water it. So if you are in a relationship and you want to be with one person, you have to water your relationship. It's hard work. It takes a lot of effort. You have to be able to look at your partner in the face and know when they're sad and when they're happy. It's not like it's your responsibility, but if you want your relationship to be happy, these are steps you need to take. You can't be, a relationship is not for lazy people. That is the truth. If you're lazy around, just stay single because you're going to be in and out of relationships. But when you're ready to put in the work, you need to check how you talk, what you say, and how you're going to say it. Now, you see, that's a lot of work. I don't just come and talk about my feelings the way I want to. I have to checkmate what I'm going to say to my partner. Even before I approach him about a conflict, I know what to say and how to say it. Because sometimes if you don't checkmate yourself, you just say the wrong things. So I talk to myself and like, okay, this is how you're going to approach it and do this and that. So there's a lot of work involved. You don't just come in and say, take me for who I am. No, no one is going to take you for who you are. Who you are may not be good enough. So you have to be constantly working on yourself, constantly improving yourself for your partner, making sure you're staying attractive, making sure that you are saying things the right way, just because you're not trying to stay up conflict for no reason. Some people don't care. They stay up conflict for no reason and they take away the peace in the relationship and you don't know how to bring it back. So now, another thing people do wrong is comparing their partners to someone else. That person you were comparing your partner to might have qualities that your partner doesn't have. But then if you look at your partner, there are some qualities your partner does have, they don't even have. So no one is perfect. There are some things I have that no, the other one doesn't have. There are some things she has that I don't have. But then that you have to see the positive side of your partner. Now, you might be comparing your partner to a neighbor outside. This neighbor washes his wife's car, but then your partner cooks for you, and the other woman is wishing that her partner cooks for her. You see what I mean? So your partner might be doing something for you that someone else appreciates that you don't even see. So you need to see the good side of your partner. In that way, you will reduce comparisons because it disorganizes you, makes you confused. You don't know if you're in the right place because you are busy comparing your partner to someone else rather than focusing on their positive side and trying to see the good in them.
Right.
So yeah, monogamy is perfect. I love monogamy. I love being loyal and faithful to one partner just so I don't get confused. But then the both of you need to put in the work. It's not left for one person alone.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. So like you mentioned the grass not being greener on the other side most of the time. But when we talk about like non-monogamy, it's not necessarily going on the other side, but looking to expand the relationship, like, introduce more people into the relationship in terms of like polyamory, polygamy, and things like that. So do you feel like there's something missing in a relationship if somebody wants to open up the relationship, or do you feel like a relationship can be expanded without something being missing in that relationship?
I will say this. The moment you open up your relationship, you have created a big gap between you and your partner. You have removed every guard. You've become insecure. Like you have taken away every sort of security because whoever is coming into that relationship is not coming in to love you genuinely. And your partner that was in that relationship will no longer be able to love and trust you genuinely because there's someone else. Imagine someone who has three wives. There was a man who had three wives. He died, and none of the wives knew that he already died because one thought he was with the other, and the other thought he was with the other, not knowing that he had died somewhere because three of them did not genuinely care. So people don't understand. The moment you have multiple partners, none of them genuinely care. They know you have someone else. So I can't give my heart to you completely, knowing that there's someone else in your life. It's just a simple math. Most people don't think about. So if you are with one person and they know that it's just you and I don't mind. I could put in anything. I could put in effort. I could put in money, everything. Imagine knowing that we are three of us. I'm not going to put in any much effort. Like, it's three of us. So with the moment you open your relationship, you create room for so much harm to be caused to you, because the three other people can gang up against you, take your money, even do something to you, because there's not true love. I've seen the man get married to two women. The two women ended up killing him, and they ran off with his money because they realized, well, if he had you and then he has me, he could have someone else. That means he doesn't love any of us. So opening your relationship is opening yourself to more harm. And that's what it is.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so like, regardless of if a relationship is monogamous or non-monogamous, there can always be jealousy within relationships. Like in a non-monogamous context, that could look like you're spending more time with this person than you're spending with me. And in a monogamous context, it could be like, I noticed that you are speaking to this person a lot or looking at this person a lot, and I feel some kind of way. So how could someone that is being accused of these things communicate to their partner that there's nothing to be jealous about? And how could a person that's feeling these jealous emotions start to deal with their jealousy?
Okay, so if your partner communicates to you that they're jealous about something, it's your responsibility to reassure them of your love and commitment. It's not the time for you to get upset and say, you don't trust me. It's The relationship has to do with emotions. They are giving you their heart. So they have a right to feel some type of way sometimes. You don't have to do it all the time. But if they feel some type of way about someone else and they tell you about it, you should know that they love you. They care about you actually, and they don't want to share it with someone else. So it's your responsibility to debunk that issue and tell them, oh, it's just you. This is just a friend. This is just a work colleague. But when you get upset, I'm like, well, I'm just talking. Well, you're always insecure. You've not even answered the question. You've not settled the problem. So you being able to calm down, be humble, and talk about the issue with your partner shows that you truly have respect for their feelings. Because when you're in a relationship with someone, their feelings are involved. You have to respect their feelings. But then that is not an avenue for your partner to always bring it up and say, oh, I don't trust you. I feel like you're looking at this, you're looking at that. That will make the other person feel very uncomfortable. If your whatever you're claiming has no value, it just looks childish and it doesn't look healthy for your relationship. It's going to ruin the love and trust in the relationship. Because if someone constantly accuses me, you can't tell me that you truly love me. Because if you always accuse me, that means you don't even trust me. How will you be able to trust me with your heart?
Mm.
So, on the other hand, do not constantly mistrust your partner or tell them that you feel insecure. But hey, if you feel like your partner is maybe talking to someone too often and you just don't feel good, approach them and tell them, I just don't feel okay about this constant communication. Just makes me feel some type of way. And the way you say it also matters. Because when you say, listen, you must be cheating, you didn't even see them cheating. So how you say things will also make your partner to respond to you in the best ways. Like they said, a mild answer turns away rage. So when you talk to them mildly, they'll be able to respond to you in the best way possible.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, like sometimes, there's some truth to why someone is feeling jealous because infidelity has happened and somebody has stepped out of the relationship and they don't always communicate with their partner about what has happened, but sometimes they want to communicate about what has happened to clear the air and to be truthful about the situation. And when the partner receives this information about the infidelity, some people are like, the relationship is done. I cannot forgive you for this. You have broken our trust. And some people are like, we can get through this if we have a conversation about why it's happened and we can understand how to move forward with it. So, in your opinion, what is your viewpoint on like forgiveness after infidelity in that kind of situation?
I will say forgiveness after infidelity is tough. It is not an easy one. A lot of people have it very hard to forgive because when you're unfaithful to your partner, you make them lose their self esteem because you're trying to tell them that they're not good enough. So, in order for them to forgive you, there's a lot of work one has to put in. They can go to couples counseling, you have to put in the work, you have to do a lot of things to show that you have to really do a lot of things. It could be changing your phone number, maybe not staying out late at night, those different kind of things. They need to see that you've changed and you no longer need someone else. You give them an access to your phone passwords, your social media passwords. If you're really coming out clean and you really want them to forgive, that's a lot of work you have to put in. Look at me. I'm clean now. You can check my phone when you want to. You can check my social media when you want to. I don't have anything to hide. Now, they may forgive if you come out clean that way because you're putting in a lot of work to show that you're no longer doing those things. But some people are not able to. And I'm not going to judge them for it because some people are just like, it's a done deal. I'm not doing this anymore because their self esteem becomes so, let's say, so ruined. They're not able to even lift their face up because when they see their fellow men or women, they feel like they're not even good enough to people that they're supposed to love. So that's hard. And you can't even judge those who do not forgive because it's tough. But forgiveness is important because one, forgiveness is you throwing away the bitterness, is you having to be at peace with yourself. So forgive and let things go. But when it's a relationship, mm, I can't judge someone who refuses to reconnect with their partner because that's a personal choice. But someone who really reconnects and forgives and does the work and then things get better, that's also a good choice.
Right, right, right. So essentially, if there is infidelity and your partner decides to forgive you, there will be a major forfeit to pay for those deeds.
Yes, definitely. You have to come out really clean, do a lot of work, put in those work. Your partner needs to see you. And one thing I have to say, the forgiveness is not going to come automatically. You need to give them time to heal, time to trust you. Trust is built on something. So if they can't just see you today, I forgive you and I trust you. No, you broke it. So it's going to take maybe a year or even two or a couple of months. It depends on the individual. So do not expect forgiveness to come automatic. Give them time to heal, time to process, time to love and trust you again. And then things can begin to be rosy again.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Blessing, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for everything that you've shared. Where can people find you, find out more about you, and find out more about what you do?
Well, currently I'm a Babe coach. I work with Babe. It's a dating site, and we have dating apps. We have babe.dating.com. When you go to babe.dating.com, you're going to see our coaches. We coach people for free, and we also help you to find the love that you deserve. And also, I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Your Marriage Can Be Saved. When you type Your Marriage Can Be Saved on Facebook, there I am. And when you type babe.dating, you're going to find everything about Babe. It tells you about relationship, it coaches you for free, and you can also find the love of your life.
Excellent. And for the viewers, the links to her socials will be in the description so you can contact Blessing and find out more about what she does. Once again, Blessing, thank you so much for coming on. Any final words before we wrap up?
I would like my followers know that love is a beautiful thing. And when you are in love, put fear outside because fear restrains you. Fear will not allow you to love your partner relentlessly. So take away fear, doubt, mistrust, love them, and put in the work involved. And if you have a career or something else that makes you feel good about yourself, I mean, keep doing it, but try to separate your career from your relationship so that you'll be able to have a genuine relationship and your partner can also be their authentic self when they're around you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Blessing.
You're most welcome. I appreciate this.